Some time after the end of Operation Last Dance and the destruction of the true Bido core, the Space Corps began training pilots in anti-Bido warfare via simulations in case they ever return. A large-scale operation is undertaken to recover lost or missing war records, detailing battles throughout the conflict between man and Bido.
Once upon a time, humanity was on the brink of destruction. By the invasion of alien organisms from outer space. People pinned their last hope on a small trans-dimensional fighter. Hi, how's it going? Now, you are about to go into the start sequence. The start sequence has been completed. Are you ready to take off? Good luck!
In 2003, IREM released R-Type Final for the PlayStation 2. At the time, producer Kazuma Kujo felt he had done everything he had wanted to do with the genre, with R-Type Final intended to be a last celebration. In 2011, as a result of the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, IREM was forced to cancel the vast majority of its remaining projects. The company decided to refocus on slot machines and pachinko development. Kazuma Kujo, along with many of the other game developers at IREM, left to make a new company, Granzella, the name coming from the Granzella Revolutionary Army, which appeared in R-Type Tactics 2. Though IREM held onto many of its IPs, Granzella was able to license many of their use to continue projects they had started at IREM. Kazuma Kujo never really forgot about R-Type. In early 2019, especially with the standardization of the 16:9 aspect ratio, he started thinking he could bring something fresh and new to R-Type. After such a long period of time, he didn't think fans would still be interested in R-Type, but a strong fan reaction to a post on Twitter encouraged him to start a Kickstarter for R-Type Final 2 later that year. The Kickstarter was absolutely successful, gathering nearly double its goal. The base game that was funded was fairly bare bones, with a lot of content locked behind stretch goals, such as bonus stages and ships. Despite its success, it still missed many of the stretch goals, such as the recreation of all 102 ships from Final 1. But Kazuma is nothing if not passionate. He contacted old R-Type developers, even ones not working at Granzella, to see if they could help develop. And despite shooters just not selling much nowadays, Kazuma said, "I'm the founder of Granzella, so now I don't need anyone's permission to make the game." The game was completed and released in April of 2021 to a mixed reaction. Complaints included lackluster graphics and effects, spotty collision, and bare-bones content. They had fulfilled their Kickstarter goals, but Kazuma still held that passion, and after release continued to work on the game, fixing and improving any complaints and even developing more stages and ships despite not reaching the Kickstarter goals. Today, the game has more than 35 courses, 111 ships, and is still being developed. I've been delaying doing this game simply because content kept coming. I think the train is slowing down, though, so I'm finally able to welcome you to R-Type Final 2. The game's story is told as a collection of yet untold war stories, so the Bido are indeed gone, defeated in Final 1. The reason this is called Final 2 instead of Forever or Returns or Rebirth is because Final 2 is what it is. It's a continuation of Final 1, showing us what humanity has done in response to the end of the Bido War. Granzilla has also, at this point, released R-Type Final 3 for the PlayStation 5. This isn't really an additional game, though, and is instead a collection of 7 stages made uniquely for the platform, remade in Unreal Engine 5. The PC version of Final 2 is supposed to be updated to Final 3 at some point, giving us those 7 stages, but we don't know the timeline of this. So I don't really even know where to begin going over all of the things that are in this game. Starting at the bottom and working our way up, you can already see World Rankings still says this feature will be available to play in the next update. What they're working on right now, I think, is something that was started in Final 3, which is the competition mode. So, much of the competition mode does not yet work, but the framing for it is here. And what it is, effectively, is 2 different stages that you can play through, with the goal of aiming for a high score. While you can play through these stages, you can do it solo, here, of course, to get your own personal best, but the idea is that you can play alongside other people, seeing phantoms of their ships flying around, destroying the same enemies you're doing. This creates a kind of competition or competitive mode, which you can then see the rankings of here, or at least you will. These are something that I do intend to show off, but not right away. Going up to the special menu, there is one minor complaint that I have had with this game. I would consider it a bug that has not been patched pretty much since launch, which is, you see this Team R-Type Final 2, go to a password entry screen. This is a place you can go because backers, of which I did back the Kickstarter, I am upset that I had not decided to back it high enough to get my name in the credits. But backers, amongst other passwords just being hidden, you can go here and input the password in order to unlock certain things, like certain ships. If you go in here and you don't have a password to enter, I can't figure out how to leave the menu without hard closing the game. And then you can even edit the title. I think once you've beaten the game, you can change what the title says on the title screen. Just make it say, Final, Final, Final. Final Fantasia Z. R-Type Final 2.5. Yeah. It's a dumb thing, but it's like, just have some fun with it, man. So then there's the R manual. The R manual, this is actually a very detailed bit of information on how to go about playing the game. And I almost want to say that there are some bits in here that let you play something, but I'm not positive. It has been quite a long time. There's just so much information. And that's just how to play the game. Then you go down to the blue, which is the craft development. This is where the R Museum returns from Final 1, and in it you can develop new ships to play. Doing this will take resources such as Selenium, Ethereum, and Bidogen. You acquire these by completing missions and playing the game. Registration is just how you add the ship to the hangar, which is a list of 10, 12 odd ships that you can actually play the game with. You can customize your ships. This is all just like in Final. And each ship can do a lot of different things. And then looking at what we have down here, you can see there are branching paths in this game. You can see that there is a ship just in front of the R-Fighter above. When you see that, by destroying it, or maybe on its own, I've never not destroyed it, it spits out these little orbs encased in metal, or cages of sorts. Collecting one of those will change which path you are going to go to next. This is the only way to get to different stages. So you don't have to do anything weird or unnatural or unintuitive. It's, you want to get to the branching path? Go find your orb. Easy. There are different difficulty settings. You can buy and sell items. We'll get to that. This is the competitive stage. Mission briefing. I think this is just general information. Keep hitting the wrong button. Okay, so this is where we come into today. So this is just detailing the Bido War in general, Final, and then Final 2. The objectives of the current mission, R-Type Final 2, are to compile the military history of the war between humanity and the Bido, and to pass down the know-how for anti-Bido weapon development. Yet unpublished military records and war memoirs are required over the course of this compilation. As new war records are still being discovered, we foresee that this mission will stretch over a long period of time. And so, in recognition of their achievements, those who complete a certain amount of compilation work in relation to the mission will be given the right to change the provisional R-Type Final 2 title. And then we have, like, all these ships that I've unlocked, and you can read information on them, but more on that in a minute. Moving up again, there's the shop. A lot of interesting things you can do here, some of which will make more sense later. A lot of these are just decals that you can get, which you can slap on the side of your ship. I think you could do that in Final. There are helmets and outfits that you can put your character in, or poses you can put your character in. More information on that later. Props. And you can buy the resources that you can use to create ships. So there are 4 resources in the game. There are the, let's call them R coins, which you get just for playing the game. The R coins are what you use to buy things from the shop, which, as I've said, it's all aesthetic stuff. It's just fun stuff. Except for these resources at the bottom, which you can just buy outright, and these resources, the blue, green, and red, are used to develop more ships. You can also get the blue, green, and red just by playing the game, but you can get kind of a booster here, just a little extra surplus, so to say. The blue, green, and red, I think it's the green that people usually have trouble getting. You actually get them from playing different stages and at different... effectively just playing different stages. Usually it's the later stages, like if you play a stage near the end of a campaign, you are more likely to get, you will get more green, say. So that's the shop. Options, what do we even have in options? Yeah, nothing jumping out at me. Though there was this. Create a flag design to display in the rankings. The rankings are not yet up, but these are the flags that you'll have available. Given the size of this screen, it looks like there's gonna make more available, but like heck if I know. And they don't really even have a use right now anyway. The symbols, though, are the far left one is the Space Corps, which is the representation of Earth. Next to that is the Bido Empire. I don't know what Bido was smart enough to design a flag for themselves. Beyond the third one is the Granzella Revolutionary Army, which is, specifically they were introduced in R-Type Tactics 2. But a quick recap of Tactics 2, so you remember who Granzella was, is the Bido had been more or less fought off. They just weren't a big threat anymore. So a number of the outer colonies and the outer planets kind of all got together and said, yo, if the Bido isn't a threat anymore, we should really stop using Bido technology, like forces. And the Space Corps, Earth, and the inner planets kind of said, nah, we're cool using these, we like these. And that eventually came to war, so that's those two. And then, of course, the Bido showed up again anyway, and they went, oh, okay, maybe we should still be ready to fight off the Bido. And apparently things didn't go very well after R-Type Tactics 2, because not only did the Bido come back, and I don't really even know if they were outright defeated in Tactics 2, but between Tactics 2 and Final 1, the Bido had taken over effectively the entire solar system, and were even starting to take over Earth. Like, when Final 1 happened, we were absolutely, like, this is the final one whether we like it or not. Beyond that, these three are not actually registered factions in any reasonable way. This one is the Lunar Colony, and this one is a Jupiter. Lunar Colony and a Jupiter Colony. Neither one of these really has any importance to any plot or anything. Lunar Colony obviously probably allied alongside Earth. Jupiter Colony potentially allied alongside the Revolutionary Army. Also, the where the Bido very first showed up in, like, so our solar system space, our known space, is in an area just outside Jupiter, so that's cool. And this one, I forget the name of. It's down here somewhere. The Gilatrid Singularity. I have no idea what that is. I googled Gilatrid. Gilatril. I Google that, 0 results. Like, literally the only result is a website that's like, hey, we can put this symbol on a t-shirt, from this game. So, don't know what that is. Maybe more information in the future. Who knows? Anyway, that's options. Moving up to data and gallery. Now we're getting into the meat of it. This is going to be the good stuff. So, our museum, given that this game is largely about really a bunch of scholars going out and trying to get information, the idea of there being a museum and a Bido lab, I think is really neat because it actually fits, as in, like, gathering this information is actually your goal. So the R Museum is huge. Which button zooms out? Okay, that zooms out. You just can't zoom out more than this. It is huge. There were 102 ships in Final 1. This game did not launch with 102 ships, but it kept getting more added. And there are now 111 with more on the way. Like this one here that says, coming soon. This craft requires technology currently being researched by the Granzella Laboratory. Thank you for your patience, and please wait for this version that will allow development of this craft. There's just a lot of crap. Everything from Final 1 is here, and more. More on that later. Pilot and War Record. So this is where I mentioned before that you could get, like, outfits for your outfits and poses and stuff for your character, and this is where that comes in, because you can make this fancy little pose and do all kinds of neat stuff. So there are 2 pages, actually 3 pages by the looks of it, of information on your character. So you can set up the camera angle and pose and what ship is in the background and all kinds of silly stuff. So it's got my name. You can also get keywords to make yourself a title, which I have made my title. The ship is Happy Days that I have in the background because I just like that ship. And then your medals, which you earn a lot of medals. They're almost like achievements, and you can put the ones that you like in there. So that goes into here. This is just a bunch of statistics on the right. And then on the left, it shows your current rank, which I am at Commander. And as soon as I clear more stages on Bido or higher difficulty, I will get a promotion up to the next rank. And then finally coming here to the fighter record, which is just... I think these are just what I use most often. And then to show what's going on, you can enter shooting mode. You can move the camera around. You can rotate the camera. What is it? Zoom in, zoom out, change camera out. Switch to display content. Oh, title logo. So you can like show the logo for your name. Can I get us back over here? So there's that, and then registering information, which I can show you what's going on with this. Yeah, so these are all the titles that you can choose. There are, much in the same way, it's kind of like achievements. You do something dumb, you unlock a title. I've gotten some more since last time. I am sure I do not have all of them. I do not know if there is a list anywhere of all of them. You can write your own comment. This is intended to be able to search through, which again I don't think is quite able yet, but you can, like, I don't know, screenshot it and share it. But it'll probably be more searchable once we get like competition and everything. And then these are the medals that you have earned. I could still earn a lot more of these. A lot of them I don't even know how to unlock. I think there is a list somewhere of all of these. But again, just like achievements, it's just, yep, clear a bunch of stages, clear specific stages. And then you get into more specific ones. That's just that. Yeah, so defeat, or develop the top-end ships. I'm not sure which ones I have on. Doesn't actually tell me right away. It is, that one is, I think it's you. So defeat 10,000 Bido. We also have the eyeball, 2,000 biological Bido, 1,000 mecha Bido. I can see I got that silver face, which I think was up here. Clear stage 1.0 10 times. Really? Why did I put that one on? Oh, I know why I put that one on. Because if you go down here, this green one that I have is clear stage 7, X7 5 times, and clear stage Y5 5 times. The reason I put those 3 on is because those are 3 different times that you fight Dobkeratops. And then the last row that I have there is... Clear the final mission on R-Type or difficulty. Clear a stage 10 times without obtaining any items. And develop the R101. I'm sure there are far more impressive ones in there, but I'm not actually good at this game. I'm good at grinding this game. I am not good at playing this game. And then Bido Lab, which I'm not going to go into too much for spoiler's sake, but these are, and this is enemy information. Once you encounter an enemy, it will show up here. But you won't have a ton of information. You have to kill it a certain number of times, and this is different per enemy, like bosses obviously you have to kill less than regular enemies. But once you've killed a certain number of them, you get the complete loadout for them. Such as here, it doesn't just say POW armor, it says, or it doesn't just say POW, it says POW armor, gives like HP, classifications, all kinds of stuff. And it gives more specific information, whereas this would just be a floating life form, and then once you complete it, it tells you it's a Revo. You know, that kind of thing. Gallery, these are all wallpapers. It actually does tell you how to unlock these. Which I'm pretty sure I've done a number of these. But a lot of these would be pretty easy to do. Pretty sure I've done that one. I'm not sure what an original course is. Oh, I think it's because you can customize your own course, and I haven't done that at all. But yeah, these are all like super neat wallpapers. Some of them are from the game, some of them are just fancy stuff, like, hey, look at those nerds. Ooh. And then you can see the credits. Okay, so with all of that done, up to the actual game. So, what I am going to be doing, there's stage and score attack. You can go back here to play through individual stages, and you can play through them on a set difficulty, on a set, with a set loadout, kind of however you want to play this stage. If you go to Start Game, that takes you to the hangar, where you choose which ship you want to play through as. So I have a number of ships here. I don't know if these are actually specific or if I just kind of tossed a bunch of ships in here. They just happened to be the last bunch that I was trying to get, like, achievements or whatever for. I forget, it's been a while. So, once you choose your course, you can, or once you choose your ship, you can customize the ship. Change the body color, canopy color, slap a decal image on the side. Then the important things, you can change your missile or your bid or what have you. And with some of them, such as the R99, you can change even the force and the wave cannon and everything. Once you're ready, you can hit Start Game. So the original 7 courses that made up the game is the R-Type Final 2 main course. That's those 7 main stages. There have since then been, I think, 3 additional stages added to the main course as alternate paths. Then there are the homage stage courses, which thankfully they let you start at like halfway points, almost. Like you can do 1, you can do 3, and 5. There are 7 of each of the homage stage courses, so that means there's 7 in X, 7 in Y, and 7 in Z. I think there's actually 8 in C. But the homage stage courses are all, I guess you could say, enhanced remakes of old R-Type stages from other R-Type games, remade in this engine to play in this game and to look phenomenal. So, I will say already, I am not great at this game. And usually with any R-Type game that I've played up until now, I have had the ability to approach the game in different ways as necessary, be it save states or what have you. And I do not have that luxury on this game. So, what I'm going to be doing, you choose your course, you can choose difficulty. What's LB? Oh, neat. Specific difficulties. I forgot this was in here. Anyway, so this is... You can actually choose your difficulty, as I said, right here. It goes from Practice Kids, Normal, Bido, R-Typer, R-Typer 2, R-Typer 3. When the game launched, at first, there was actually some complaint about the game being too easy, even on the hardest setting. Which I believe it launched with Kids, Normal, Bido, and R-Typer. After that, they added R-Typer 2, 3, and Practice. So, I will say the difference between individual difficulties is not dramatic. If you play on Kids, like, even going up to Bido or R-Typer isn't really that much more difficult. Though you will notice interesting minor things that add a different level of difficulty. As a quick example, you see a chain of enemies come out of one hole in the ceiling and start moving along. Maybe there's 4 of them that come out. After you're done defeating those, another chain comes out of the floor with, say, 4 enemies in it. An increased difficulty may, say, increase that to 5 or 6 enemies that come out. Now, these are all garbage enemies anyway, so it's not really that big a deal to have 1 or 2 more. But the issue is that by the time that 6th one comes out, the chain coming out of the floor has already come out. And now you can't very easily clear the top and then move to the bottom and clear the bottom. You are now dealing with the fact that the bottom exists already while you're still dealing with the top. So you have to play catch-up in dealing with the bottom, and the bottom is, of course, starting to shoot at you now. Little things. So, that's that. Practice mode, I don't know especially what the difference is, but I know practice mode guarantees you a force. After you die, you continue always with a level 1 force. And then, as we saw here, you can even change difficulty on a more specific level. And this will increase the rate that you have of the bonus currencies, the currencies that you gain. So playing on higher difficulty means you get more stuff. So I disabled demo skip because an animation plays when you start a course.
How are you feeling? Now, you are about to go into the start sequence. The start sequence has been completed. Are you ready to take off? Good luck.
In-game. So there's an auto-fire button. There's also a charge button. There are, as with all R-types, there are 3 different power-ups you can collect. You can, just like in Final, adjust your speed on the fly. The power-ups will show up as the little orbs that are either red, blue, green. Red is typically a forward attack. Blue is bouncy lasers. Yellow is a wall hugger. Typically, this will change depending on the force and the ship. Speed power-up is not in this game. You can just change your ship by hand, manually. There are still missile power-ups. I've got my little dual homing missiles. So I haven't really spoken about the ship that I'm playing. Wow, I'm surprised that did not kill me. Haven't really spoken much about my ship, but the Wise Man has... The Force has this, like, hexagon shot. Got the blue bouncy lasers. Its charge shot is a diffusion shot, so once it hits something, it actually breaks apart. There's a lot of guys. Hey, can you stop? Thank you. And it can charge up multiple levels. There's a suspicious-looking guy back that way. And bits. This bit is not anything fancy, it's just a normal bit. And we play through to our first boss. Watch the crap on the ground. Don't get hit by lasers. And he's dead. Got him. Stage 1 down. So I mentioned I'm going to have to take leniencies where I can in order to show off the game, because I'm not great at this. And what that means is I am not necessarily going to be playing through. As far as editing is concerned, you all will see everything as though it is a fluid playthrough. But I will probably go back to the stage select at some point and show off stages via score attack system, where I can kind of play however I want to play. The first ship we looked at was the R9WB Happy Days. Another risky test of a new wave cannon. It has the test tube canopy, which pilots seem to dread. The test tube canopy was designed because the ship can be mentally taxing on the flyer. And the test tube canopy can be very easily taken out of the ship and then another one put in once the pilot is out of commission. It has the split wave cannon, 2 flute max. After hitting an enemy or some other obstacle, the beam split and increase the destructive potential of the gun. Standard force H. Using an optical honeycomb structure, an energy field can be created in space, damaging enemies on contact. And just the standard round bits and homing missiles. So unless I say otherwise, I'm going to be playing through on normal. But I'm going to go through stage 1 again on R-Typer 3. And we're starting this off fully powered with my R99. Just so you can see not only the force of destruction that this thing is, but also because this stage does change on, I believe, R-Typer difficulty. For one, things shoot a lot more bullets at you, they move faster, they have more health. Thankfully, when you do score attack mode, you come in with full power. So as long as I can beat the stage in one go, it doesn't really matter. Now, the R99 has a couple neat things to it. It can equip pretty much anything, for one. That's, of course, the big deal. What I have equipped on it right now are the Leo Pods. Like, the purple Super Leo Pods. As well as a... I believe it's called the Balmung Missile. It doesn't fire very often, but when it does, it's effectively a screen clear. My charge beam as well is also very good for screen clearing. This isn't necessarily the best fighter to just power something down. There we go. And the reason I'm doing this is with the, not only do I want a slightly easier time, but also with the reduced damage, or the increased enemy health. One of your first ships probably won't have the damage to get through this. So you can see, for one, on higher difficulties, the Bido R fighter back there actually comes through. Not that it does much. And the boss is a little bit different. It's the Dobkeratops proper. He does this stupid attack that I've never been good at dodging. Nope, don't like it. Don't like it. Can't see. Got him! You see, in normal use, can see the Dobkeratops there, but he's frozen. And on harder difficulties, you actually see him. We also just saw the R99 Last Dancer, the ultimate interchangeable fighter, a super versatile model which can equip all wave cannons, forces, bit devices, and missile units equipped by the craft that have been developed to date. It was testified that this mission's objective was to develop this craft. This is going back to R-Type Final, which presumably the actual mission underwent as soon as these fighters were developed. It can, of course, equip any wave cannon, force, and round bit and homing missile, and bit and homing missile that exists.